What's going on YouTube? It's Giga here bringing you some more Series 9 Wi-Fi battles with live commentary. We are wrapping up the month, so I thought it'd be pretty cool to finish things off using this team. It was built by Ikari and made it all the way to 15th place in the Players' Cup 4 qualifier this past winter. So I think the team is actually pretty straightforward in terms of what it does. You have Fairmosa to hit things really hard and really fast. You have Dragapult also on that kind of faster end with a lot of damage, and Tapu Lele with specs, which as we've seen can just be a huge source of damage output. You also do have a fairly strong trick room mode of this team, where you can use things like Porygon as well as Glastrier and Torkoal to kind of wrap things up overall. So really excited to use this team, and yeah, with that being said, let's just hop right into the first game. All right, game number 1, and this is interesting. We have Pikachu, Charizard, Venusaur with Torkoal, Mamoswine, and Celesteela. This is weird. I do really like Fairmosa, just because of the fact that it has the Focus Sash and it can triple axle into things. Obviously, the fear is Charizard. Charizard is I think going to be a really tricky thing for this team to answer. Um, yeah, and the fact that we don't really have a way to stop Venusaur putting things to sleep. I think Fairmosa, and I like Fairmosa Dragapult. Yeah, that Torkoal makes things hard. I think Torkoal in the back, and then probably Porygon 2. I think Porygon 2, just because what I'm thinking is if we can stall them out a little bit using Porygon 2's just strong defensive capability will really come in handy. But I think, yeah, the big question is what are their leads and how can I kind of play around what they're doing? I think Charizard is obviously the scariest. So we are going to see Charizard Torkoal, which, yep, makes sense. That is definitely what I was most afraid of. What I do expect, though, is for them to hit into Fairmosa, but it is nice that Fairmosa will be able to get off a triple axle first. So I think triple axle into Charizard and then Phantasm. We already are faster. I'm going to go for a Phantasm into Do I want to go into Torkoal or Charizard? I'm going to go into Charizard. I think the fact that Torkoal is slower makes things a little bit okay. The big fear, though, is the fact that we are letting it get up in Eruption. So what I'm hoping for is the fact that we're going for a Phantasm as opposed to like an Airstream means that even if they go for Burning Jealousy, it's not going to get a burn off. So we just want to try and get as much damage onto this Charizard as possible. I don't actually know what Adamant Fairmosa's speed is, which ironically is coming to bite me, because I'm trying to figure out if Dragapult will outspeed. If Dragapult outspeeds, I actually think that's a really good position to be in, because we'll get the defense drop onto Charizard first, and then get the triple axle off. But obviously, now is a little too late to figure that out. So, okay, great. Actually, yeah, perfect. So we do connect with a really, really big, what's it called? Max Phantasm to get the defense drop. So now let's see if this triple axle does connect. It does. Unfortunately, it's not going to pick up the knockout unless, let's see, this is actually going to be close. Oh, wow. That's really great. That's an incredible start. Obviously, the big fear is Venusaur in the back, because Venusaur still will be able to outspeed. Yep, Burning Jealousy makes sense. You're going to drop me down to my Focus Sash. But what's nice is even if they have Venusaur can only pick one target. Oh! Fairmosa got the Beast Boost. I was like, oh, we don't have to worry about burn. We have one turn to live. I could bring my own I like Porygon just because it has Ally Switch, which I think is pretty valuable. We also do have our own Torkoal with the Eruption. I mean, not the Eruption, Earth Power. I'm going to actually bring out Porygon just because like I said, it does have access to Ally Switch. So if they do have Venusaur, we can try and dodge. Okay, so they have Mamoswine. So I think even still, we should try and go for an Ally Switch to take the Ice Shard, and then let's get a max Wormwind off onto Mamoswine just to try and lower. Oh wait, just kidding. I was gonna say just to lower its attack, but that doesn't actually matter because of the fact that Mamoswine does have Oblivious. Or does Oblivious work through? What's it called? Does Oblivious stop something like Max Phantasm? I totally forget. We do manage to land the Wormwind. Okay, so yeah, we are going to get the attack drop. Oblivious just stops Intimidate. And they're probably going to Icicle Crash. Yep, we're going to see the Icicle Crash into the Porygon slot, expecting it to be the Dragapult. And so now I think at this point, we can pretty easily Phantasm into Mamoswine and go for a Tri-Attack into this Torkoal just to kind of weaken it. And I'm guessing, let's see, so my opponent's bringing out their last one, which is going to be Celesteela. So I think things aren't fully over yet. Getting the, oh wow, that did a lot. So we do get the defense drop onto Celesteela, and we are going to be able to pick up a big amount of damage using this Tri-Attack from Porygon. And it's going to do over half, and so this Eruption should not hit for that much. Yeah, it is very low, and so what I think we can do is we can safely Phantom Force into Celesteela, because Dragon Darts, yeah, is unfortunately not very effective. So let's go for a Phantom Force here. Porygon probably is in a safe enough spot where I can just go for a Tri-Attack. Yeah, I'm going to Tri-Attack into... Cool, that makes sense. Yeah, that was definitely a little bit of a tricky battle. I think the fact that Dragapult and Pheromosa into Charizard guarantees the knockout was huge. I don't know if that was planned for or if it just happened to work out, but it definitely saved me in this battle, because I think eating the Wildfire for the whole game would have definitely put me in an awkward spot. But I think, yeah, once that threat was taken care of, Dragapult was kind of able to steamroll and be in a really good position. So really great first battle. This team is obviously, it did really well, and I can see why, and let's just keep rocking and move to the next one. All right, battle number 2, it is Metagross with that Spectrier Bulldoze combo. You have Tapu Fini, Incin, Moltres, and Regieleki. So, what is Pheromosa's speed? 203? Oh, that's slower than Dragapult, so that definitely underspeeds, what's it called? Spectrier, otherwise I was going to say being able to outspeed. So I definitely like Dragapult lead. I think the only really big fear is Moltres. But even still, I think I could do Pheromosa as well, which I think is not necessarily the worst option, given the fact that both of these are really fast. Yeah, let's do that. I think it hits into enough. I like Tapu Lele, like just kind of hyper offense, and then maybe I am tempted for Torkoal in the back. I could also do Porygon. I'm going to go with Porygon in the back. I think the mentality of that, once again, is the fact that it is a little bit more defensive, so we can take some bigger hits, and then the fact that we can recover them, and also just like Porygon itself has a ton of natural bulk, and Tri-Attack being able to get status is a huge deal, as well as everything else that it can really provide. So we're going to see, okay, so they are going to go with this Metagross Spectrier lead, which suggests to me that they might not bulldoze. I mean, I think they very well could. I think either way, doubling up into Metagross makes sense. I'm going to actually triple Axle in... Do I want to triple Axle in the Spectrier? The fear is if they protect and then they go for 2 Bulldozes. Oh, that doesn't matter because Dragapult also has Clear Body. I'm still going to triple Axle into... what's it called? Into the Spectrier. I think with the defense drop, we should be able to knock it out. And so I think getting rid of that huge support will make a pretty big deal in the long term. The fear, obviously, though, is triggering the policy using the Max Darkness, or not Max Darkness, the Max Phantasm, because I think that should be a pretty clear knockout after that. And yep, we are going to see the Protect, so they are going to try and trigger the policy as expected. Oh wow, we are faster than their Spectrier. We do get a really sizable amount of damage on, which I think is a big deal. Now the question though is, are we going to outspeed with Pheromosa, or are we going to have to worry about getting Will-O-Wisped? We are going to... Yeah, wow. We outspeed with Pheromosa. I don't think we will KO with this triple... Oh, we do KO with the triple Axle, which I think is huge, because at this point we do have Dragapult outspeeding everything, and we do have an attack boost on Pheromosa, which means even if they have something like Moltres in the back, we can once again go for a Phantasm to get a defense drop, and we have an attack boost. So I think that combination puts us in a really strong spot. The big fear, obviously, though, is still them maxing Moltres and getting the Berserk boost, but... Oh, they're gonna... Okay, so they're gonna bring out Incineroar. And I think... What? I could switch out to Tapu Lele. I think still Phantasm into Metagross, given the fact that it has a defense boost. And then... I do want to just swap out Pheromosa. I could swap it out to Lele to stop Priority. No, because that's... I'm just going to Protect. I do think it's a questionable decision. Because, yeah, the max from Metagross is very, very obvious. And I think the correct play is just to definitely go for... what's it called? To go for a Hailstorm into Dragapult, because that'll get rid of my Focus Sash, and it should be a clear knockout. We are going to see the Incineroar most likely go for a Fake Out into the Pheromosa slot, which, yep, we do see that. Phantasm, let's see how much it does. It is very close to the knockout, but not quite. Luckily, Pheromosa should... Or not Pheromosa, what I can do is I can bring out Lele the subsequent turn. They're going to Steel Spike into Dragapult. Dragapult is going to go down. I think that was a pretty questionable decision. We know for a fact that Pheromosa will outspeed. So the question is, do we want to... Does Lele have... That's tricky. I was going to say, because Lele doesn't have Shadow Ball. Because if Lele did, I would have clearly gone for that. But I think because of the fact that I don't really want to risk... Lele not picking up the knockout, right? Moonblast is not very effective. I mean, it's so low. I think what I'm going to do is... I don't want to... I'm going to Moonblast and Close Combat. I do still have the Sash on... Oh, that's bad. That was a very correct play, for sure. So we're going to double target. You are going to be able to get the Flare Blitz off into my Pheromosa, most likely. Yep, you're going to bring me down to the Sash. I think still next play, or next turn, we can get big damage onto the Ensign. We can Moonblast once again and go for a close combat here. They could go for the double protect. And basically what I'm trying to do is now their Ensign will be low, and it'll be a 2v2 where their Ensign is low and they can't pivot out, and we'll have Porygon 2, which does make me really hopeful, but let's see. They could go for a double. I think going for a double wouldn't necessarily be a horrible idea. I think it'll really, from that point, depend on what your Incineroar spread is. We do, okay, so yep, we do knock out the Metagross. I think you have to target into Pheromosa with Incineroar, because you really can't let it stick around, because it's too fast and it'll do too much unless you have priority in the back, which I don't think you do. We're going to see the Moonblast connect onto Ensign, will probably trigger a Berry. Yeah, so we do get the special attack drop, which I think is very relevant with Incineroar, in case it goes for a Snarl and it doesn't do the 1 damage necessary. We're going to... Okay, so they're going to Parting Shot, which is interesting. I'm guessing they're going for the attack drop onto Pheromosa to bring it back to neutral. But because of the fact that we have Psychic Terrain, we don't have to worry about Fake Out. Oh! They do have Tapu Fini. Interesting. Okay, so you can change the terrain. Fini's tricky. That's tricky. I think the play still is to Moonblast here and protect, because I mean the Ensign could have Feint like this Pheromosa, but I think after that point a close combat should finish off Ensign, and then we can just start getting damage onto Fini. The fear obviously is it Calm Minds. So yeah, I think the right play for them is to Fake Out into Lele. And oh, okay, so they are going to Fake Out into Pheromosa. We do go first with the Moonblast, but yeah, I was going to say it's not going to do too much. Calm Mind is obviously really scary because they can just start getting up a bunch of boosts. But I think... Yeah, it's going to be tricky with Porygon for sure. I think obviously you just have to keep attacking, and then we go for the close combat onto Incineroar. Because if we can eliminate Incineroar... Oh. That was a thing. Did not expect Incineroar to have Protect, for sure. Smart. Muddy Water makes sense. You are going to get a sizable amount of chunk onto Tapu Lele and get the accuracy drop. Is there anything we can do at this point? We do have Porygon. We know that they can keep pretty safely going for Calm Mind. And we can't really, at this point, stall out. And we get the attack raise, too. I think, I'm going to hit here. I'm just going to go for... I could Trick Room. I think double up. I expect the Feeny to protect this turn. So I'm going to double up into Ensign, which I think is a really big... I think it's a high risk, high reward. But what I'm hoping is if that happens, it's 2v1 versus the Feeny, and then I can set up a Trick Room with Porygon to make it so I can recover off any sort of damage and hopefully have Moonblast get a couple special attack drops. But I think... Nice, okay. So they are going to protect with Feeny, so I'm glad we are choosing to double up, but I expect the Ensign to go for a parting shot. So we do a pretty sizable chunk. The special attacks are not where we need it. Yet we're going to see the parting shot onto Porygon, which is definitely interesting. I think it does make some sense, but let's see. That's frustrating. That's so frustrating. I'm gonna go for the Trick Room, and okay, so they don't protect with Incineroar, which is good. What I'm hoping to do though is I'm hoping to stall out the terrain so Tri-Attack can start getting what's it called? Tri-Attack can start getting some status. We do lose Feeny, and so now like this is a little bit of a tricky... I mean, not Feeny, we do lose Lele. This is really tricky because we do have a weakened Porygon with minus special attack versus a Feeny which is continually recovering. Okay, so the mist is gone though. We can now have Tri-Attack get statuses. So that's honestly what we're going for. We're going for statuses, whatever we can get. They're going to protect, which I think makes sense, because they are now at this point trying to stall out my Trick Room. So, yeah, I mean, we could play the timer, which is another option. I think the plan though, okay, so if we're going to play the timer, I do need damage on Feeny, because most Feenys have more HP than Porygon. And yeah, that does nothing. They're going to Calm Mind up. I would probably need a freeze or paralysis. And then what I can do is I can play I think playing the timer makes the most sense at this point. But I want to get another Trick Room up. Yeah, so we're gonna just kind of hang out. Let's go for one more. I don't like playing the timer, but I think it might make sense. We do have full health, but obviously they can very easily... They have 2 Calm Minds up at this point, so very easily get off one hit. And they're obviously waiting for my Trick Room to expire. So we can... Yeah, I wish we had Eerie Impulse right now. Eerie Impulse over Ally Switch. I mean, Ally Switch made a big deal last time. Let's see, do we connect with the status? Nope, we don't get the crit. They're going to Calm Mind. I think this is the last turn of Trick Room, though. We don't have any special defense investment, which does make things a little bit hard. But Feeny, I don't think, can recover back to full. Yeah, so what we can do is we can Trick Room. And I think at this point, depending on how much this Moonblast does, 192 down to 68, they're going to get the special attack drop. Yeah, so I think we have to play the time, but what's tricky is one more Calm Mind from them means that they can one-shot. So, yeah, we're gonna... yeah, because what? 192 should be more than Tapu Fini's maximum health. So we just... Unfortunately, I think wait until we're down to the wire here. Because I think if we get to the 3... If we can recover enough health, we should be able to win. And like I said, I don't really like the timer strategy too much. but I think in this scenario it does make the most sense. One. Okay. So this should, like I said, bring us down to timer. And so what I'm hoping is we can just get the last turn with Porygon. But it looks like they are, rightly so, just aggressively hitting Moonblast because I am losing more HP than I'm recovering. And I think at this point they'll win the race. So I don't think recover is a viable strategy. I think we actually do. I think I just need to pray that I get a freeze or a paralysis. Because if I get one of those, I think I win. Nope. And nothing. Yeah. Because I was going to say, they're dropping me by 20 HP every time. So it wouldn't have been viable enough to go for the recover strat. I mean, the recover strat, the timer strat. Knowing they had Tapu Fini, I'm trying to think of what I could have done. I think the protect on Incineroar really hurt for sure because of the fact that it let them get rid of Pheromosa. And I think if I had had Pheromosa even for like 1 or 2 more turns, the fact that I had faint pressure into the protect made a really big deal, or the fact that I triple Axel, which had 3 chances to get a critical hit, definitely would have contributed to the match overall. But I mean, yeah, that's a very good reason, as we saw, to run protect on Incineroar, because it definitely cost me the game. But I think it was still a really good match and nothing to do but keep pressing forward and move on to the next game. All right, battle number 3. And once again, a pretty standard team. We have Amoonguss Incineroar with Spectrier, a Regieleki, Moltres, and Landorus. Honestly, I don't really see a reason not to run Dragapult with Pheromosa. It stops just a ton of different things. The fear, obviously, is the Spore from the Amoonguss, but I still think this is just such a strong lead overall. Lele, I don't really think does much. I think Porygon Glastrier is a nice option in the back if we can set that up, because of the fact that Glastrier really, even without Max, does a ton of work onto my opponent's team, and the fact that it has Assault Vest I think is overall very helpful. Torkoal's not really doing much. It's too slow, especially against Amoonguss. And then Lele, is also a hard sort of choice. So I think this is the 4 that makes the most sense. Like I said, I really like the fact that Pheromosa Dragapult is so strong, and Dragapult's able to just get the knockoff, like not get the knockoffs, get the defense drops before Pheromosa can just kind of clean up. So from my opponent, we're going to see Moltres and Amoonguss, which kind of expected. I think it's still nice though, because we can triple Axel into the Amoonguss and go for a Phantasm into it. And even if my opponent goes for I think they'd have to Airstream. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I should have Airstreamed actually. That was a really bad play. Airstream definitely was the correct choice in that situation, because then I would have guaranteed that even if they go for an Airstream, we're still faster. But now I have to play catch up for a turn. But interesting enough that they're not going to. They're probably going to Nasty Plot. So we do get a little bit of chip damage onto the Amoonguss, which I think is always really nice. We do get the defense drop, so I think the subsequent turn, if we go for something like a max Airstream, it should work out. So, yep, we're going to see the Amoonguss protect, most likely a Nasty Plot. Yeah, so Nasty Plot there. I think now we triple Axel into Moltres. And then we could Phantasm again. No, I think we have to go for the Airstream, like I said, because of the fact that if they choose to Airstream this turn, we can't afford to be behind, because that could easily let Moltres just rack up some big KOs, especially now that we have been able to get like a fair bit of damage, or not a fair bit of damage. What am I saying? Yeah, we can't let them get a lot of KOs onto us. So they're going to bring out Incin, which I think is a very smart play. It does allow Pheromosa to get fake out. Yes, it allows them to use fake out on Pheromosa this subsequent turn, but we are going to be able to pick up the speed boost. I forget where I put the triple axle. So if I put it into Moltres, that's actually kind of bad because that will most likely trigger a policy. So let's see. We are going to go for the Airstream into the Incineroar, which does a pretty sizable chunk, all things considered. And now what? We're going to triple axle, and the question is where, like I said, where did I put it? Triple axle into Moltres. That's, yep, there's the policy. So that is a +4 Moltres. That is a very, very scary threat. We're going to see... Yeah, okay, so we do get it under half. The question now is where... Oh, God. Yeah, that is a +5 Moltres. Most likely an Airstream, yep, into Pheromosa. Yep, we're going to see it into the Pheromosa slot. So it is... So my opponent can what? They can easily try and fake out into the Pheromosa slot and then go for a Darkness into the Dragapult slot. So I think we definitely protect because I need to maintain that. And I need to maintain speed control over Pheromosa. I mean, not over Pheromosa, over Moltres. So I have to go for another Airstream here with the idea that after we have Pheromosa protect this turn, we can try and knock out Moltres the subsequent turn using triple axle because we're faster and... Wow, that did a lot of damage. So that's really nice because now we can go for... what's it called? We can go for close combat. That's what I'm trying to say. We can do close combat over the... close combat over... English. I'm trying to... Close combat over triple axle. That's what I'm trying to say. And I think... We could bring up Porygon too. I think we bring up Porygon too with the idea that it'll be slower than... Or with the idea that Glastrier is slower than Amoonguss, so it'll be faster in a Trick Room to avoid something like... They could Max Guard. I'm going to predict the Max Guard and go for a Trick Room. I could also... I'm going to Ally Switch. So even if I call that wrong... Yeah, Max Guard was expected, so I'm hoping to take out the Incineroar with this close combat, and then we can play some mind games with this. Yep, nice. We do pick up the knockout, which is huge. That is the last turn of Moltres' max. And so now things are a little bit tricky because you can easily bring out Amoonguss and go for a Rage Powder, which, yep, we do see the Amoonguss come out as Moltres does finish its max. So I think Trick Room is hard because I know that Amoonguss outspeeds. I'm going to go for this and a triple axle into the Amoonguss, predicting... Yeah, so they're going to go for a Rage Powder. It didn't matter in the end. I'm hoping that we can knock it out with this triple axle, which is questionable. Yeah, I don't think we're going to. It's going to be close, which means that you can Fiery Wrath onto... Yep, and this is +5 onto both of these. Porygon does take it very well, but it unfortunately cannot take another one, which means that this Moltres will most likely be able to finish me off. I mean, actually, what? Let's see. What is special defense is 116 with a Violite. Glastrier does have higher special defense, so I think I should be able to live another one. So I think Trick Room was actually the correct play, and by I think Trick Room was 100% the correct play. They do have 2 special attackers left, but they are both faster. I'm gonna go for the Trick Room in the rare event that somehow I'm able to get it off, and I think Icicle Crash. No, I shouldn't have gone for Icicle Crash. Icicle Crash was a really bad play. We're gonna see Spectrier down to one, or not Spectrier, Glastrier down to 111. But this Shadow Ball should finish it off, and if it doesn't, it'll be 66. Icicle Crash just for giggles misses, but yeah, the right play definitely would have been to Trick Room with Porygon instead of attacking, because I would have been slower than the Amoonguss, and then I could have basically baited out. I would have been able to recover and then bring out Glastrier safely to go for big hits to not necessarily worry. Yeah, that was a little bit tricky overall, but I think even though we only won one game today, I think the 2 that we lost were very, very close and could have been like rectified if things were a little bit better. But it's been a really cool team to use so far. I'm excited to finish out the season with it. And yeah, until next time, I hope all of you are wonderful, and I'll see you then.